Hello dear students of class 10th, welcome to geography class. I hope all of you are doing well. Students, in this video I shall be continuing with the 4th chapter of geography, that is agriculture. Students, in the previous video I had already completed the explanation of the chapter. I had explained all the topics of the chapter, and in this video I will be explaining you the exercises that are given on page number 46. So let's start with the exercises part. So as you can see on the screen, we have question number 1, that is multiple choice questions. So in this, let's start with question number 1. So the question is, which one of the following describes a system of agriculture where a single crop is grown on a large area? And the options are option A, shifting agriculture, option B, plantation agriculture, option C, horticulture, and option D, intensive agriculture. See, I had explained you all the 4 options. I have explained you about shifting agriculture. Shifting agriculture is the other name of primitive subsistence farming. Then I told you about plantation agriculture. What is plantation agriculture? Plantation agriculture means growing a single crop in large area. That is called as plantation agriculture, which is also called as commercial agriculture. Okay, in this one plant is grown in large areas. For example, tea, coffee, these are grown. They are examples of plantation agriculture. Then we have the third option, that is option C, horticulture. Horticulture means cultivation of fruits and vegetables. And the last one, option D, that is intensive agriculture. Intensive agriculture is practiced in areas of high population, where the population is very high. In those areas, intensive agriculture is practiced. So, which is the correct option? The correct option is option B, that is plantation agriculture, which means growing a single crop in large area. Okay, now let's proceed with question number 2. So the second question is, which of the following is a Rabi crop? The options are option A, rice, option B, gram, option C, millets, and option D, cotton. See, rice is a kharif crop. It is sown with the onset of monsoon. Then we have millets. Millets are coarse grains. They have high nutritional value. And if I talk about cotton, then cotton is also a kharif crop. And if I talk about option B, that is gram, then let me tell you that gram is a Rabi crop. So the correct option is option B, gram. Okay, let's move to question number 3. So the third question is, which one of the following is a leguminous crop? The options are option A, pulses, option B, jowar, option C, millets, and option D, sesame. See, which one of the following is a leguminous crop? What do you understand by leguminous crop? See, leguminous crops are the crops that have nodules on their roots. They have nodules on their roots that fix oxygen into the or in the soil. So such types of crops are called as leguminous crop. So let me tell you about jowar. Jowar is a millet. That means they have high nutritional value and they are coarse grains. Millets I already explained you. Then please remove this explanation. Keep till the options. So let me tell you about leguminous crop. What are leguminous crops? See, the crops that have nodules on their roots that fix nitrogen in the soil, they are called as leguminous crops. Such types of crops that have nodules on their roots and that fix nitrogen in the soil are called as leguminous crop. So the correct option will be option A, pulses. Pulses are leguminous crops. Okay. So I hope that all these 3 questions are clear to everybody. Now students, let's proceed with the second question, that is question number 2. that is answer the following questions in 30 words. So you have to answer these questions in 30 words. That means they are short answer questions. So the first question is, name one important beverage crop and specify the geographical conditions required for its growth. See, I have already explained you about beverage crops. I have explained you about two beverage crops, that is tea and coffee. So you can write about any one, either you can write about tea or you can write about coffee. So in this video I am going to explain you about tea, but if you wish to write about coffee, you may write about coffee also. Okay. Students, if I specify about tea, then let me tell you that tea grows well in deep and fertile, well drained soil rich in humus and organic matter. So the soil needs to be very fertile. It needs to be very fertile and well drained soil in order to grow tree, in order to grow tea. Then students, it requires warm and moist frost free climate. That means it requires laterite soil. Frost free means there should not be snow. Okay, it requires a warm climate, warm and moist, as well as frost free climate, and it also requires frequent and evenly distributed rainfall throughout the year. That means rainfall needs to be there, a frequent rainfall needs to be there throughout the year. So this is about the geographical conditions that are required in order to grow tree. So these are the geographical conditions that are required to grow tea. Okay. Now students, I had explained you one thing while I was explaining you the chapter. I told you that tea and coffee, these are generally grown on slopes. Why they are grown on slopes? Why not on the land? Because they need frequent and even distribution of rainfall. If tea or coffee will be planted or would be planted on land, what will happen? There will be water logging, and as a result of which the crops will be spoiled. So that is why they are generally grown on slopes. So I hope you understood the geographical conditions that are required to grow tea. I hope you remember the major states where tea is grown. Let me remind you that tea is grown in Darjeeling Hills, Assam, Jalpaiguri district, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Okay. Now let's proceed with the next question. So students, as you can see on the screen, we have question number 2. So the second question is, name one staple crop of India and the regions where it is produced. So you can mention any staple crop, but I am mentioning rice. But you can mention any staple crop, it can be wheat also. So rice is a kharif crop, and if I talk about the regions where rice is produced, then it grows in the plains of northeast India, coastal areas and deltaic regions. Please remember that it grows in these areas, and this is a kharif crop. That means it is a water intensive crop. It requires a lot of water to grow. Okay. I hope that this question is clear. Since this is short answer question, only it requires 30 words. So I am just explaining you in brief. Okay. Now let's move to the third question, that is question number 3. So enlist the various institutional reform programs introduced by the government in the interest of farmers. See, the government introduced several institutional as well as technological reforms in the interest of the farmers. Why? See, because a majority of population is engaged in agriculture, but its contribution in the share or its share in the GDP is relatively very less, which is a major concern. So in order to tackle this situation, the government introduced several institutional as well as technological reforms. But in this question only institutional reforms are mentioned. So I will be explaining you the institutional reforms introduced by the government in the interest of the farmers. That means the government introduced, or the government had taken several steps so that the farmers could be benefited. See, a large proportion of population is engaged in the field of agriculture, but the output, the productivity is not that much. So in order to increase the productivity, in order to increase the share in GDP, the government took several steps. For example, minimum support price, the first step, that is MSP. So minimum support price was fixed by the government so that the farmers do not face any loss. That minimum price had to be given to the farmers in any case. Okay, so this was in interest of farmers. Next, provision for crop insurance against drought, flood, cyclone, fire, disease, etc. So the government made provisions for crop insurance regarding the natural calamities. See, natural calamities cannot be completely stopped, but the effect, the damage can be reduced to an extent. So that is why, in order to save the farmers from damage, the government introduced, or the government brought provision for crop insurance against the natural calamities. Then the third point, or the third reform or the program taken by the government was subsidy on fertilizers. See, the Indian farmers, they face a lot of competition from the foreign farmers. That means in the international market they face a lot of competition. Why? Because the farmers abroad, that means the farmers in the developed countries, they get a lot of subsidy, they get a lot of relief from their government, because the government is really very cooperative, and the population of those countries are comparatively very less than the population of India. So that is why the government is not able to provide proper fertilizers, as a result of which, it's got this line, as a result of which the government is not able to provide proper and adequate subsidy, as a result of which the cost of crops or the price of crops is very high, and so the farmers face foreign competition or international competition from the farmers. So that is why the government gave subsidy on fertilizers and the fertilizers, chemicals and seeds. Then establishment of Grameen banks to provide low interest loans. See, the farmers were forced to take loans from the informal sources of credit like money lenders, traders, relatives, neighbors at high rate of interest. The informal sources, they generally charge a very high rate of interest, and the poor farmers, they are not able to repay back the loan, and as a result of which they fall into debt trap. So in order to save the farmers from exploitation, the government introduced, or the government established, Grameen banks, so that the farmers could be provided loan at low rate of interest. Okay. Next point, facilities of Kisan Credit Card, that is KCC, and Personal Accident Insurance Scheme, that is PAIC. So these schemes were these facilities or these schemes were provided by the government of India in the interest of farmers. So these were the institutional reforms or the programs introduced by the government of India in the interest of the farmers. So I hope that question number 3 is clear to everybody. Now students, let's move to question number 4. So as you can see on the screen, we have question number 4. So the question is, the land under cultivation has got reduced day by day. Can you imagine its consequences? Definitely students, the land under cultivation, it has reduced day by day. Why it has reduced? Because of the right of inheritance. That means we are acquiring the land of our forefathers. That means the land of our forefathers is divided, and as a result of which the land size holding is reduced. So what will be the consequences of reduced land? See, there will be several consequences. First of all, shortage of food. See, as the population is increasing, so the population will demand more food. So demand will be more, supply will be less. As a result of which, what will happen? Prices will increase. So this will affect the economy. This is one point. Then rise in unemployment. Definitely unemployment will increase because people will have very less work or no work. Suppose I have 2 hectares of land, okay, and I have 2 sons. I have divided my land equally in between my 2 sons, means 1 hectare to each son I have given. So what will happen? Less people will be required on that land. If there are 10 members in a family, then how many people will be required to do the agriculture work? Maximum 2 or 3 will be required to do the agriculture. But what will happen? The other people who are sitting idle, they will also be engaged in that field, in that plot only, which will also result in hidden unemployment or disguised unemployment that you have studied in economics. Okay, so there will be rise of unemployment. Next point, imports increase will put stress on the economy. Definitely the price of our products, our food grains will increase, and the price of the food grains imported from other countries will be less. So what will happen? There will be stress, there will be tension there will be stress on the economy. Okay, because our farmers will have to face a lot of competition from the foreign market. Next point, storage of supply of raw materials for agro industries. See, the industries are totally dependent on agriculture sector. Why? Because the agriculture sector provides raw materials to the industries. For example, I have I have a chips industry. I am making chips, I am making potato chips. From where I will get potato? Will I grow potato in the industry? Potato cannot be grown in the industry. It will come from the farm. So if there will be less production, if land will be less, production will be less. So if there will be less production, so it will directly impact the industries, as raw materials will not be available, or sufficient raw materials will not be available for the industries. So I hope that these points are clear to everybody. Students, in the next video I will be explaining the further questions to you. Till then, revise your lessons well, revise all the questions well, and you may also add your extra point to the questions. You are most welcome with that. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video with the next question.